Yo, what's up everyone? I hope you're doing well and happy new year. One of my goals for 2022 is to continue to refine and thin out my wardrobe and try and really condense my closet down to a very nicely curated selection of clothing that really reflects my personal style. And I think one of the things that gets in the way of people achieving that and myself achieving that is just having too many clothes. I think generally, and definitely myself included, people just have too many things and too many clothes, especially if you're into fashion or sneakers. Like, you can just get super carried away with this stuff. And I did a closet tour video over a year ago, and that was probably at like the peak of my, sheer quantity of garments in my closet. And it was just way too many. Like, I never really wore, like, oh god, probably at least like 60% of those, hardly ever, so like since that point I've really tried to start selling stuff. Like, I have over 100 transactions on Grailed, the vast majority of it being sales, and so I want to continue to really thin out my wardrobe. And over the time of me selling things, it kind of comes in waves, and I've figured out about like 10 tricks or 10 questions or tips that I kind of ask myself when going through my closet that make it easier for me to decide what to keep and what to sell. And of course, like fashion in general, this is going to be very subjective, so everyone's going to weight these differently and people are going to ask themselves their own questions. But anyways, these are 10 questions that I ask myself just to help me kind of get over that hump of, well, I like it, but I don't really wear it. Am I gonna wear it? All that stuff. Just because you have a thinned out wardrobe does not mean at all that it has to be bland or boring or not unique at all. I'm definitely not saying that. You can have a very unique, refined wardrobe if you curate it correctly, and you thin out and you sell things correctly. So anyways, before I keep blabbing on too much, I'm just gonna go through 10 tips that helped me, and moving on to tip number 1. All right, number 1, it's a little bit blatantly obvious, but size. And what I'm meaning is like the thing where the item of clothing where it's in your closet, you like it a lot and it fits well, in your wardrobe, it looks cool, it's a good quality piece, but it just doesn't fit right. And because it doesn't fit just right, you tend to not wear it as much. This is a sign to me that you should probably sell it. I'm actually kind of guilty of it right now because I'll show you an example. All right, so these are my beloved acronym Prestos. I kind of did a little custom job to it to make it a little bit more wearable. I really like these sneakers, like a lot. However, they're just a little bit too big on me that it makes me not want to wear them as much as if I got them in a half size smaller. Everything else I really like about them. Like, I think they look really cool. They fit well within my wardrobe. It's a pretty good quality piece of clothing. However, the size can just kind of hold me back a little bit. And so I wouldn't be surprised. I've been really thinking about selling these. It's not because I don't like them, it's just the fit. So ways to get around this is like, well, let's say I want to sell those. I should sell those, and then I could get a nice other used pair in my correct size now that I know, I need a size down something. Anyways, I know it's pretty simple, but that is something to consider when going through your wardrobe. Moving on to number 2 in the list. It's nostalgia. Just because something's nostalgic to you doesn't necessarily mean you should keep it. And I'll give you an example. So my very first like high-end sneaker or fashion sneaker were the Y3 Casa Highs in Vista Gray, all gray. They actually look like, I think they're actually really cool looking shoes. Those are my very first like kind of high-end fashion sneakers. Back in like 2016 I got them. And so for that reason, they are quite nostalgic for me because I have this sentimental value with it. And I genuinely have not worn them in 3 years, but because I had that nostalgic with, the nostalgia and that sentimental value with it. I was like, oh, I should hang on to it. I ended up just selling them a couple weeks ago because I was like, you know what? I just don't wear them. Now, obviously, I have things that I'm very nostalgic and sentimental about. Like, I have some clothes that my grandfathers wore and then they passed, and I'm 100% keeping that, like, forever. Like this New York Yankees cap, that was my grandfather's. I wear it because I like the look of it, but I'm also never going to get rid of that, like, ever. So obviously, you know, just because something is nostalgic or sentimental doesn't mean you have to get rid of it, but it's those things where it's like you're hanging on to it. Oh, because I have a fond memory of shopping with so-and-so when I got it, or I got it in a time of my life when whatever. It's like, just because that you have that aspect to it, but you don't wear it, you could probably let it go. Anyways, that's tip number 2. All right, moving on to tip number 3, wearability. Obviously, this might seem a little simple, right off the top of your head, and it is probably one of the more blatant tips. However, if something you can only wear with 1 or 2 pairs of shoes, or, well, I like these pairs of pants, but I can only wear it with this jacket. You know those things in your wardrobe that's like, you really like it, it's good quality, you know, it fits stylistically with the rest of your wardrobe, but it's not really the most wearable. That is a factor when deciding whether to keep or sell something. So I'll give you an example. I recently sold this Rose X flight suit. I think it looks super, super cool. It fits really well. It's really good quality. Like, I really like it. However, I didn't wear that much. It's not that wearable. And because of that, it was just kind of sitting in my closet. And so I wanted to sell it to someone who would, like, actually wear it more than I would. And so I sold it, you know, and I did kind of struggle with, like, I wanted to keep it. It was just collecting dust. I know it's pretty simple, but wearability, something to keep an eye out for. You know, if you have a pair of shoes that you can only wear with, like, 1 pair of pants, yeah, maybe a sign that maybe you shouldn't have those shoes. I don't know. Now, before I move on from wearability, I think it's completely okay, and I think it's actually important to have those pieces in your wardrobe that are a little more bold and a little bit more out there for those times that you want to spice up your outfit a little bit. You know, it's completely fine to have something that really stands out, you know, that isn't the most wearable, you know, because those are the things that can really kind of add some flair to your wardrobe. And as long as you can wear it with multiple things, you know, I think it's okay for sure. For example, one of my absolute favorite jackets is this Rose X Cosmos Bomber. It's incredibly unique, quite bold, you know, just like the design of it, not so much the color or anything. However, I can wear it with, like, multiple pairs of pants or something. It's not like the absolute most wearable thing in the world, you know, but it's super cool, and it just strikes that right balance between being, like, very unique and very wearable. And so I think it's completely okay to have those pieces like that. And this kind of brings up this other thing that I've been thinking about, and I think there is a ratio, and of course it would be different for everyone else, but I think there's a ratio between, like, what should be basics in your wardrobe and then what should be, like, trendy, bold pieces. Like, is it a 80-20 split? Is it 90-10 split, where 10% of your wardrobe is, like, trendy, like, bold items, and then the rest of the 90% is, like, staple, good quality, kind of timeless pieces? You know, there's some ratio out there between those two that I don't know the answer to, but it's just something I've been thinking about. I think it ties into this point. Anyways, next point. Moving on to point number 4. This is remove multiples. And basically, and I think I'm going to come for the sneaker heads at this point. Again, I'm 100% guilty of this. If you have 2 things that are either the exact same or they're really, really similar, you could probably get rid of one. For example, and I'm currently a hypocrite right now because I still have both of these. I need to sell one of them. But I have 2 pairs of Nike Blazers. I have the black swoosh with, and then I add some cream laces, and I have this nice like cream swoosh with white laces, you know? They're pretty much identical pair of the shoes. However, something to think about if you have multiples like this, or if you have like, I don't know, like 4 pairs of Jordan 1s that are pretty much the same, like, okay, you could probably get rid of one. Or if you have 5 pairs of jeans that look pretty much the same, why don't you keep your favorite 2 and then let the rest 3 go? You know what I'm saying? So, and something to think about is if I were to sell one of these, right, that frees up space in my closet to get something completely different that would completely change up the look from one of those. You know what I'm saying? So the number of shoes you have in your closet is the same. However, the variety of fits just grew because you got a pair of shoes that is much more unique or completely different from that other pair. So again, that's just something to think about. All right, tip number 5. We're halfway done. So thank you for making it this far. Tip number 5. Again, this is a little bit simple, but genuinely ask yourself, when was the last time I wore this? And I'll give you an example. I recently got that White Mountaineering Uniqlo collab, that parka. I really like that piece. However, I got it, I wore it for the video. I wore it, I think generally like 2 times, like once on a walk and then once like to lunch one time. Other than that, like I just never wore it because if I was going out, I would wear one of my other favorite jackets, like my acronym jacket, my Valence jacket, you know, something else that I just like more, that fit me more, that just fit my style a little bit better. And so I just never wore it. So I literally just sold it today. I got to ship it out. It's like right there in the corner. By the way, international shipping right now is a lot of money. So USPS is probably the cheapest. Obviously, some things to think about when's the last time I wore it? Obviously, keep in mind like seasons too. Like right now, I'm not wearing my, summer t-shirts because it's January, and I probably won't be able to wear those till like late April. So, if you haven't worn it in probably like the last 6 months and you don't foresee yourself wearing it in the next season, should probably get rid of it. All right, moving on to tip or question number 6 is, do I have a need for this anymore? Now, it is completely normal as life goes on that your needs will change. And so I'll give you an example. When I was in college, I wore backpacks like pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. So I would load up all my books, my laptop, my lunch in my backpack, walk to campus, walk all around campus, stay after, walk back, commute to my girlfriend's house, like blah, 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 blah. You needed a backpack. So I ended up having like 3 different backpacks. I probably didn't need 3, I'm being honest. However, now that I am out of college and I just work a job, I really don't have a need for 3 backpacks. Like I really, I'm going to keep one at least, if we're going hiking, or sometimes you just need a backpack. It's just smart to have. But do I need 3? So keep in mind those like lifestyle changes. Like, I don't know, this is a stupid example probably, but like if you lived in, I don't know, Alaska, you would have probably like some really nice parkas, and then you move to New Mexico or something. You probably don't need to keep those anymore. Maybe keep like one nice warm jacket, but like you probably don't need like all that many. These are just another question to ask yourself when you're going through your wardrobe and it's getting kind of difficult. Just something to help. Point number 7 is to go through and do multiple rounds of thinning out your closet. So one weekend afternoon, go through and try and clear it out, right? Sell that stuff over the next couple weeks, maybe a month later, revisit your closet and look at it with another fresh pair, with some fresh eyes. Because like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's going to be a process. And so you're not gonna, I mean, I guess you could like at the flip of a switch just go through and sell like 90% of your clothes, but you probably might get rid of some stuff that you don't really want to get rid of, and you might regret it. Okay. So again, point number 7, go through multiple rounds of going through your closet and kind of take a break in between each round you do it. Just gives yourself some time to think. Point number 7, very brief. So there you go. Point number 8 ties into the previous point, and that is to get a second pair of eyes and a second opinion on your wardrobe. Of course, like the first like 1 or 2 rounds of going through your closet, you can pretty much just do all on your own. However, as it gets more difficult, as you continue to refine down to your favorite pieces, you may want to bring someone in who knows you really well, who you have a close relation with, just to get their opinion. Like, hey, do I ever wear this? Like, what do you think of this? You know, so for me, I go to my girlfriend a lot when I'm selling stuff and be like, yo, hey, do I get rid of this? And I'll try it on, I'll barge into the room and be like, hey, should I sell this? You know, and then she's like, well, you don't wear it, yeah, or no, I like it, you know, and here's why, you know. And so it's just good to get a second opinion on. So again, if you're struggling with cleaning out your closet, get a second opinion on those difficult, stubborn pieces that you can't make a decision on. That is my 8th tip. All right, number 9, and this is more of a tip for like going forward to help kind of get a better wardrobe and to have a more condensed wardrobe and kind of make things easier to sell, is just to having less allows you to wear your favorites more often. And I was watching like some YouTube video on like this guy who was like a minimalist or something. I forgot the actual name, but I don't know. He said something where it's like, oh, when you have like, I don't have that many clothes, so I get to wear my favorite shirt every day, basically. And when he said that, it kind of like stuck with me. I was like, yeah, you know, it's true. You know, it's like if you have your favorite, just get rid of the stuff that isn't your favorite or one of your favorites. And then you just get to wear your favorite clothes like all the time then, because like that's what you have. And so it kind of ties, you know, that like that Marie Kondo, I think that lady, this lady who would like people meme this, where it's like if it brings you joy, keep it. So if you're going through whatever in your house, it could be pots, pans, like clothes, whatever. If it like, does it spark joy when you look at it or think about it? Well, if so, yeah, keep it. But if it doesn't, you could probably do without it and just free up that space and just like, you know, I've thinned down my wardrobe quite a bit. It feels pretty good. I want to continue throughout this year to like even refine it even more. And so again, that's just like a general tip. Thinking to yourself, having less means that you got to wear your favorites more. I don't know if it kind of helps me like push me to like sell stuff that I'm kind of on the fence about. And generally, I find after I've sold like more than like 100 things on Grailed, I don't really regret selling any of it, to be honest. Because number 1, you get cash. Number 2, you free up space. So it's like, you know, on one hand, you can sell something that doesn't fit or you don't really wear that much, and you can get something that you would wear more or it does fit really well, you know. Or you can just sell it, free up the space, and get cash, and just like, you know, put that in like your investment account or savings or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's tip number 9's very, I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Tip number 9 is very convoluted and not a very clear cut, straightforward point, but that's okay. Point number 10, thank you for making it this far in the video. But again, this is gonna be just kind of a general rule, like going forward, really with any consumer purchases, but especially in the context of fashion and your closet, it's to purchase good quality items. And for several reasons. Number 1 is they're gonna last a lot longer. Number 2, if you do get tired of it, it's gonna maintain some resale value to someone else. So, for example, let's say you want a pair of jeans, right? You could go and get like a really cheap pair, you know, for like $30, $40, whatever. And you could wear it for a while, you know, and then after a season or 2 seasons, if you kind of don't like it, or your style has evolved at all or whatever, you really are not going to have like much resale value for those. However, if you were to get a nice, good quality pair of like Levi's or something, like a good thick quality denim, and you wear it for a couple years or several years, and then you could sell it, there's much better chance there's going to be a good market for it where someone's going to want to buy it, you know, because it is a higher quality kind of timeless piece. Obviously, that's a huge oversimplification and generalization. However, I think it kind of conveys the point. I've kind of found that like when it comes to the things that are super easy to sell on Grailed and everything are things I end up paying a little bit more for. And most of the time I can get, you know, probably like at least like 50% of all my money back, you know, so it kind of, is it a wash? I don't know. There could be a whole study done on like, is it more cost effective just to buy cheap clothes, or is it more cost effective to buy more expensive ones and then resell when you're done with them? Obviously, it's better for the environment to get higher quality stuff that will last a long time. That's a whole can of worms that I don't know much about, and I'm not going to go into this video. But again, that is point number 10. In the future, try and get maybe higher quality things. It will make it easier to sell when you're done with it. Because I think it incentivizes you to thin out and have less when you can get more for your clothes. So anyways, guys, that are just 10 kind of tips that I have found that help me go through and sell stuff from my wardrobe, because it can be difficult to really think about something like, do I want to sell it? Well, I like it, but it doesn't fit that well, or I like it, but it's kind of hard to wear. I like it, but I can't sell it for much. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different things that go on in your mind when you're going through your closet, deciding what to keep and what to sell. So I hope that these 10 tips or questions to ask yourself have helped you. But I'm genuinely curious to know like what you think about, or what would you think about when going through your closet to sell something. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave my Grailed link down below, and also my Instagram link. Sometimes I'll just post my story if I am not feeling paying that Grailed fee of 9%. But anyways, guys, Happy New Year. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in a video pretty soon. So see ya. Have a good one.